Morning peeps, good morning everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. A quick reminder, we are now available as a podcast for those of you that like to listen instead of watch. Just search Ade Oladipo wherever you get your podcast from. It will have the stuff that I do here by myself and also Ade and G-Man and a couple of new bits as well coming your way in the next couple of weeks. All right, let's have a look and see what there is to talk about today. I think there are a few talking points that might interest you. All right, let's start here. Otto Wallin contemplated retirement after loss to Derek Chisora, but now vows to fight on. Yeah, that was a very bad performance. I can't think of a better word to describe it. In fact, I have a better one. It was woeful. It was. And look, I'm an Otto Wallin fan. I feel like he's had to do it the hard way. Not many people knew who Otto Wallin was prior to the Tyson Fury fight. He got that opportunity. He kind of lived off that fight, and rightly so, in getting the AJ opportunity and then got the Chisora opportunity. And unfortunately, he made Chisora look like peak Chisora. I mean, come on, we know Chisora is right at the end. In fact, I think the end has already come and gone for Chisora, and Otto Wallin had the chance there to really put in a performance to stay on. It almost is a bit like that, right? Winners stay on. Or even if you lose, but put in a good performance, you will get the call again. You will be on a big platform. You will get big fights. And Otto Wallin, at times, and I hate saying this, but he looked scared at times. Honestly, there were times when Chisora was like, okay, come in. Chisora was almost trapping himself on the rope saying, okay, come in. And you could see what Chisora was trying to do, that big overhand right. I mean, Chisora was sending that overhand right from another postcode. And Otto Wallin was still scared to engage. I'm like, dude, what are we doing? What are we doing? So it's all well and good him saying he vows to fight on, but I think he needs to really look at what he's doing. It could be a case of he has to make changes in his camp, maybe make changes in who's in his corner. But ultimately it comes down to himself, right? Make changes within himself, because I thought he looked really bad against AJ, or maybe AJ looked really good. But I mean, against Chisora, and you guys know I love Derek Chisora, but Chisora he's no longer that guy, right? As a top tier heavyweight, and Otto Wallin made him look like a top tier heavyweight. So yeah, that was a bad performance. No negotiations currently in play for Dmitry Bivol versus David Benavidez. Just fake news. Okay. It's been mandated by the WBC. That we do know. That isn't fake news. Benavidez is in line to take on Dmitry Bivol. He was in line to take on the winner, right? He was there. Although he went before the main event, which kind of annoyed me a little bit because I wanted to speak to him. But he was there ringside, and I guess he was there on the invitation of Turki Al-Sheikh, right? So, you know, if whoever won, David Benavidez would fight the winner. It's weird how this is all kind of played out now. Now, all of a sudden, I think Turki Al-Sheikh's come out and said he no longer wants to see Bivol versus Benavidez. Like, he wants to see Bivol Beterbiev free. Like many people, but I'm very split on this, because on the one hand, those two Bivol Beterbiev fights have been fantastic. I mean, those guys have shared 24 rounds, and you could easily give 12 rounds apiece to both. That's how close those fights have been. And normally, when it is that close, you need one more. You need a trilogy. You need one more. Beterbiev deserves one more, and I think boxing just deserves one more. We need to know definitively who is the best of Bivol Beterbiev, who is the best light heavyweight of this generation. So sometimes you need one more to decide that. But having seen 24 rounds of it, I would like to see something different. I wouldn't mind. And I feel bad saying this, because Beterbiev deserves the opportunity to avenge that defeat. He kind of deserves it, right? But Benavidez is waiting in the wings. Benavidez has come off two really good performances in the 175-pound division. I think Vosdick was a very good sort of landing spot, right? Vosdick solid. And then David Morrell, two good performances. He's now carved out a name for himself as well. So it isn't just a case of, oh, the guy that Canelo's avoiding. We know who Benavidez is now. Benavidez is a very, very good fighter. I think we've all seen that. And I kind of want to see how he fares against the other top guys. And I'm not just saying this as a Bivol fan that wanted to see Bivol versus Benavidez. I really wanted to see Beterbiev versus Benavidez. I was like, my God, that's a car crash. Bivol Benavidez is slightly different. And obviously now there is this story or rumor going around that Bivol was dropped by Benavidez. So there's something there. The issue is, as good as both of these guys are, say Bivol wasn't to do what Turkey wants him to do, which is fight Beterbiev. And say he says, you know what, no, I do want to go and fight Benavidez. He ain't getting anywhere near the same coin. Anywhere near. I like Bivol, but Bivol wouldn't be a draw in America. Even with everything he's done, beating Canelo, beating Beterbiev, he's not a draw in America. And as much as I love Benavidez, the numbers came back from the pay-per-view he did with Morrell. And you can think about all the sell they did for that fight. Like Morrell and Benavidez were fantastic in sending that fight. And the numbers were really, really small. So the check is nowhere near the same for staying with Riyadh season in Turkey and fighting Beterbiev or fighting Benavidez. Completely two different checks. Completely. So I'm not sure. I think Benavidez would have hoped that Turkey would have said, you know what, Beterbiev, sit this one out. Benavidez, you're up. I think that would have been the hope. I'm guessing that's the reason he went to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. That's the reason he was invited. He didn't buy his own ticket. He was, I'm guessing, flown out there by Turkey, again, with the hopes of fighting the winner. So I don't know. With regards to where it is in the pecking order anyway, IBF, in terms of a mandatory request, is in front of the WBC. And IBF are very, very strict on it. So it could be a case of Dmitry Bivol vacates. But I feel like Bivol's got a bit of an issue here. Do you fight Benavidez for less money in America on a PBC show, or do you fight Beterbiev for more money, even though you've done 24 rounds of him already? Like, even maybe Bivol wants something different. And by the way, you still can do a trilogy. Like, trilogies don't have to happen back to back to back. You still can have a fight in between. The problem is the fight in between is a very risky one. But if you are Bivol, maybe there is a conversation with Turkey. Like, okay, let me go and handle that business. I know this is very risky because I'm making it sound like Benavidez ain't hard working. He is. But let me go and handle that business, and we'll circle back to Beterbiev. I don't know. I personally think he goes straight for Beterbiev again. I think Beterbiev's age makes you want to rush that fight as well. You don't want to get to a stage where you're fighting, and I think we saw it for the first time the last couple of rounds, that Beterbiev kind of looked his age for once. But you don't want to get to a stage where you're fighting Beterbiev in a year's time and he's now touching 42. And then the excuses are built in. You fought an old Beterbiev. Look, right now he's still old, but because he's still so good and so strong, you kind of get away with it. But fighting a 42-year-old Beterbiev, you might not get the accolades for the win if you were to fight him right now. So I do think he goes the Beterbiev route, but I would prefer to see the Benavidez route. That's what I would prefer to see. Firing on all cylinders, Anthony Joshua could take Danny Dubois rematch, but still wants Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury teased us all, didn't he? On his Instagram with an Old Trafford caption, "Have you missed me?" And I was fooled for about 5 minutes. Then Adam Cattrall was nice enough to tell me Ad ate a soccer aid. And I was like, for fuck's sake. I was so upset. I still think Fury and AJ happens. I harbour hopes that both of them, it's not even both of them, it's Fury. AJ wants to fight. I've spoken to AJ about this so many times. AJ wants it. It's Fury that has retired, so it's Fury they have to convince to come back. And I don't know, he seems to be enjoying home life. That's one thing Fury's always spoken about, the fact that every time he does go into a fight camp, he leaves his family, and it's a big family in Morecambe. And I guess he's been doing that for the past decade. So maybe it is a case of him wanting more home life. But it's AJ. It's AJ, and there's a big check, and it's a big fight. And if you're Fury, that's what matters right now, right? Big fights, big checks. It isn't belts anymore for either of those two guys. It's about that and just moments, and this is a big moment. As for the Daniel Dubois rematch, I think Daniel Dubois fights Usyk. I said it yesterday in yesterday's video. I think Daniel Dubois fights Usyk, and I think Parker fights Kabiel, and I know Parker ain't happy about that. Keith Thurman weighs in at career high for comeback bout against Brock Jarvis. Yeah, Keith Thurman, obviously this will be at 154 pounds. He came in at 153 and a half. Keith Thurman's had one fight in 6 years, so I don't know how serious I can take this. I mean, in saying that, Brock Jarvis is not. I mean, Brock Jarvis fought Liam Parrow. I think it might have been at 135 3 years ago. Now he's fighting at 154. So, yeah, I don't know. But Keith Thurman's had one fight in 6 years. That one fight was a win, Mario Barrios, but it's one fight in 6 years. Prior to that, he fought Manny Pacquiao. So he fought Barrios in 2022. Let me just get this correct. 1 second. I'm sure. Yeah. Okay. So Barrios in 2022, Manny Pacquiao in July 2019. So by the time he steps in the ring tomorrow, it would have been 5.5 years, one fight. That's not even, I mean, think about how much I critique Terence Crawford when he fights once a year. One fight in 5.5 years. I mean, sometimes because of that, because of how inactive he's been, we almost forget how good he was. Keith Thurman was really, really good. Really, really good. Unified champ, 147 pounds. One of the best 147 pounders of each generation, but we just didn't see him enough. I felt a little offended. Oscar De La Hoya weighs in on Turkey Al-Sheikh Dana White bond. Yeah, I mean, let's not forget, Dana White has destroyed, ridiculed, like come for the head of Oscar De La Hoya. So you can understand why Oscar's a bit like, I mean, Dana, Turkey, I do business with you and you're almost doing business with my enemy, someone that's attacked me. But it's all fair in love and war. As I've said, and you guys know, I've said this, I'm going to repeat myself. This is the wild, wild west. I mean, who would have thought Frank and Eddie would be singing Kumbaya around the fire? Anything can happen in boxing. Anything. Virgil Ortiz's promoter, so I'm guessing this is Oscar again, not interested right now in title fight with Bakram Murtazaliev. Yet no one seems to want to fight Bakram. After what he did to Tim Tszyu, everyone's like, fuck that. I will say this though, if you were to ask Virgil that, there's one thing asking Oscar, right? Oscar's going to protect his asset. Ask Virgil, I have no doubt in my mind Virgil will say we'll fight him tomorrow. Like, you don't fight Boychuk and Madrimov back to back and then have some sort of fear for Murtazaliev. I'm not saying Murtazaliev isn't as good as those guys, because it could be better than it could be. But those guys are killers, and he fought them. So he's certainly not scared of Bakram. But if you are Oscar De La Hoya and you're thinking, okay, he's come through those two banana skins, we now want a big fight, a big fight. I don't know what that is in the 154-pound division. Maybe it's Fundora, maybe. I'm not sure. But we'll see. Adam Azim targeting Regis Prograis and Richard Comey. Okay, two good names. I like both of those names. 140-pound division stacked. So no shame in those two. He was at the British Boxing Board of Control when Andy Clark asked him about Dalton Smith, and he said, I'll kill him. If they fight, I'll kill him. Do Dalton Smith then. Do Dalton Smith. You guys know my thoughts on this. Do Dalton Smith, man. Come on. Like, Dalton's got this fight coming up in April. Dalton Smith in the summer. It's crazy how, like, two Brits are here. We're trying to find out who is one of the best at 140. The reason I say not the best is because Jack Catchell's still the best for me. Can they just fight? People are acting like this is unheard of. Like, when I say it and some people come at me, like, I'll come at him and let them both go that. Why are they both going that way? Why can't they just fight? And the winner goes that way and the loser finds another path. I want to see them fight. I don't understand the, let one of them get a title bullshit. Like it's a given. Good luck getting a title at 140 pounds. Good luck. A couple of final bits. Eddie Hearn remains open to working with Welsh star Joe Cordina. Strange what's happened with Joe. Strange. Obviously, Joe's not fought since the Kakache defeat. I would love to know if Joe did get the call. I don't think he would have fought Shakur Stevenson on a few days' notice anyway, but I'd love to know if he even got reached out to. Considering that he was supposed to fight Shakur. Shakur got injured, not Joe Cordina. All of a sudden, it then kind of Joe got put to the side. Floyd Schofield stepped up, and Joe Cordina has been waiting for a fight since. Can't get a fight. Joe Cordina, former IBF super featherweight champion, can't get a fight. Maybe these boxers want this fucking TKO league table thing. So, because maybe that guarantees them fights. That's one thing we've not spoken about. Maybe that guarantees them fights, which guarantees them money. I mean, Joe Cordina's income is from boxing. Doesn't have an income. Crazy. Fabio Wardley confident about sealing hometown fight with Kubrat Pulev. Hometown is in Portman Road, I think is referring to. For those of you that don't know what Portman Road is where Ipswich Town play, a team in the Premier League. Fabio Waldy's a big Ipswich Town boy. Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. I mean, that's a big number though. What's Ipswich's? You don't have to fill it, but what's their capacity? I'm guessing it's about 25. Ipswich Town capacity 30,000. Just go to an arena. Go to O2 Arena. And then if you come through that, your next fight, Portman Road. All right, I think we are done. Tiara Brown, Sky Nicholson has been given the easy road to world title. I don't agree with that, you know. I look at who Sky's fought. And, I mean, if you go like the win-loss record of who she's fought compared to the win-loss record of the opponents Tiara Brown's fought, Sky Nicholson's fighting the better opposition. And look, maybe having a big promoter opens more doors for you. That's just how the sport is. But I wouldn't say the red carpet's been rolled out for her. I think Sky Nicholson's a very good fighter. I think Tiara Brown's a good fighter as well. Tiara Brown carries a lot of power, but no, I don't think it's been that easy for Sky. Because I'm telling you now, a lot of people just think she's beautiful and can't fight, and everyone's waiting for her to get chinned. She can fight. She can fight. All right, are we done? We are done. Peace and love.